But what does this have to do, Brother Wesley, with the one people and their one destiny?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Teach.
Let's talk about that.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about God. What God are you talking about, Brother Wesley? Well, shoot, I only know one God. Well, can we do a mental exercise? Will you do a mental exercise with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In this mental exercise, family, teleport back with me approximately 2,400 years. Teleport back with me mentally and go with me to an area in southern Spain. This, you see the strait where it says present, you see the Strait of Gibraltar, separating the tip of North Africa from the Iberian Peninsula, and to the left, the Bay of Cadiz. Cadiz is a important city in southern Spain. I want us to journey together back 2,400 years to this area, if you would. At this time in Cadiz, in southern Spain, the Phoenicians ruled that land. Does everybody know who the Phoenicians were? Hear about Hannibal the Great, right? Yes. And I believe, though I don't know if it's just internet fabrication, Denzel Washington is scripted to play Hannibal in the movie. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Well, that would be appropriate. Hannibal was a Phoenician general. The Phoenicians was a sister culture to the Israelites. And why that's important is because the Israelites, or Israelite religion, is the basis of the religion of this book. This book in particular I have is the Hebrew Bible, meaning the Bible in Hebrew.
Yes, sir.
Very important. The Bible in Hebrew, not King James English Bible. The Phoenicians and the Israelites, our sister people, and the Israelite religion is the root of biblical religion, and biblical religion is the root of Quranic religion, because the Quran defines itself according to the peoples of the book, the previous book.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The Quran is the book that validates the books that went before.
Yes, sir.
So these two books emanate from the same God. These two books, in essence, are of the same religion. Okay? So, around 400 BC, the Phoenicians ruled the whole area of southern Spain. At that time, currently the Bay of Cadiz is as we see it. But back then there was an island, a long island in the Bay of Cadiz. Now what I want to draw our attention to is behind the island, there was an islet, a tiny island. On this island was the wonder of the world at the time. On this island, 2,400 years ago, was a huge monument. It was a tower, 180 feet high. Atop this tower was a huge 10-foot statue. It was a statue of a black God, a black man. He had on a gold cloak. Here we have a 13th century representation of this wonder of the world at the time. The Christian Alfonso X artistically depicted the monument, and this is faded, but you still see the white tower topped by this black figure. For 700 years, while this monument stood on the islet in the Bay of Cadiz, the Moors ruled the Iberian Peninsula. And the Moors called this imposing monument Sanam Cadiz, the idol of Cadiz, and they wrote about it and they even depicted it artistically. And they're right. There is a black man who stands on the top of the pinnacle of the tower. Now, this tower, 180 feet high, standing on that islet in the Bay of Cadiz, it stood for 1,500 years, 1,500 years. This imposing monument stood, and it can be seen from far, and it served as a navigation point. The ships in the Mediterranean, it was a lighthouse. Ships navigated by this monument with this black, 10-foot tall, black, imposing figure on it. Who is the black, imposing figure? He is the god of the Phoenicians, a black god. They called him Melkart. But Melkart in Phoenician only meant, it was not a name, it was an epithet. It meant king of the city, but the city wasn't Cadiz. City was metaphor for cosmos. This black man, this black god atop this tower was the great God, the supreme God acknowledged by the Phoenicians. But this same black God of the Phoenicians is the same black God that Israel worshipped and is at the root of biblical religion. For 1,000 years, the world was in awe of this wonder of the world, this monument with this imposing black God looking over the sea. And people were scared. People were shook. The Moors eventually in 1145 destroyed the monument before 1,000 years. What point am I making? See, the black man is God. The black God is real. I have to say this, family.
Go ahead.
We treat aspects of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings as if they are passé, as if they are outdated. Some of us think that when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said God is black, that he was giving black people something they needed psychologically, that teaching of his had great psychological and therefore social value, but it had no truth value. And so, everything in your garbage can right now, every item, at one point, it had value. At one point, it had utility. But once its utility was exhausted, it becomes what? Trash, and you throw it away. See, some of us treat this aspect of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad the same way. And so I want to be real clear. When I said, what God? Oh, I only know one God. I meant the black God. Be real clear, family. And I'm saying this now, not as a Muslim preacher, but as an historian of religion, trained in the historical critical study of religion and religious texts, and professionally examine critically all of the ancient world religions. I am saying that all religion is rooted in the black God. All religion. There is not an ancient religion. The religion of this book, the Bible, is rooted in the truth of the black God. The religion of this book, the Quran, is rooted in the truth of the black God. Buddhism, Hinduism, all of the ancient religions. You can't understand anything that you read in any of these texts if you don't have the black God, the truth of the black God as the starting point. And this is, now we're here at destiny. And we're going to wrap up. Religion. I said all religion is rooted in the truth of the black God. That truth is not just the fact of the black God, but all religion revolves around a particular aspect of the fate of the black God. The religions of the world, they revolve around not just elucidating who God is, but their central purpose is elucidating what happened to God. What happened to God? That is the point of all religion. Now, half of the world's religion lament what happened to God. Another half of world religion celebrate what happened to God. What happened to God, Brother Wesley? Stop dragging this out. If we travel today, you and I, to the South Asian country of Burma, formerly called Myanmar, in the capital city of Burma. Burma is a Buddhist country. In the capital city of Burma, there's a temple to Kyakiat, the Buddhist god. Kyakiat. Kyakiat means God of the gods. The Buddhists of Burma tell us that Kyakiat is a black god. The God of the God, is self-created, they tell us. But in the temple of Kyakiat, he is represented in a particular way. He's asleep. And the sleep that he is engaged in is called parinirvana, which means sleep death. And the Burmese Buddhists tell us that Kyakiat, the black god of gods, was to sleep for 6,000 years. During the time of Kyakiat's 6,000 year sleep, a new people. This is what Burma Buddhist tradition tells us. That during the time Kyakiat lays prostrate in his sleep death, a barbarian people will take over the earth. But after 6,000 years, we are told, Kyakiat will rise from his sleep death, and he will ascend back to his throne and slaughter the barbarians. You are Kyakiat, black man and woman. You are the black god of gods that was to sleep for 6,000 years. So the Bible says, on the seventh day, God comes for 6 days, and a day unto the Lord is as 1,000 years. And this is why the U.S. flag has 6 white stripes. That's the 6,000 years that the barbarian people ruled the earth while the black God is asleep. But after the close of day 6, Kyakiat rises and assumes his throne now. But while in his sleep state, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad explains to us the meaning. We hear about the fall of Adam, the fall of man. Christianity more so speaks on that. The fall of Adam, that's the fall of the gods. Now we fail, black man and woman, 6,000 years ago, and the time was set, was predetermined for our rise from death. But in between, this happens. I said all religion is rooted in the black God and what happens to him. The oldest Indo-European religion is the religion of the Vedas, which Hindus use as their sacred scripture. The Vedas, written in Sanskrit, go back to around 1500 BC. This is the basis, this is the first Indo-European book of religion. And it lets us know that white folks' first religion revolved around celebrating not just the death of the black god, but their own role in the murder of the black god. Indo-European religion celebrated with a bloodlust their role in the murder of the black god, because Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that since the white man has been on the earth, he has killed 100 million black people for every 1,000 years he has been here. So in 6,000 years, he's murdered 600 million black people. And European religion celebrates that fact. And this is the icon of European religion, depicting the white god Mithra slaying the black god represented as the black bull. That's you. You see the white god piercing the temple of the black bull, and you see a scorpion sneaking up to the scrotum of the bull to castrate him. They feminize and murder the black god. This is why, family. This is why, and I'll close here. One God, one people, one destiny. The destiny, you're my destiny, is to lead the rise, the awakening of the sleeping black God. That is your destiny. This is why, dear family, some of us, you judge us wrongly, the Nation of Islam. You judge us based on what you think you see us not doing. And so you say the Nation of Islam is or is not relevant today. Well, why ain't they relevant? I ain't see them at the George Floyd protest. They ain't have no boots on the ground. But understand that because we understand, we have an assignment. And our assignment does not involve protest. Our aim does not involve praying for our enemies. Our assignment does not involve rioting. Our assignment is the resurrection of the dead. Our job is to arise the black God. That's what we do, and that's what we are inviting you to join us in today, black man and woman. Join on to your own right now today. Accept your own and be yourself. And who is yourself? Only God. Assalamu alaikum. Takbir! 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 Please show your love for student minister Dr. Wesley Muhammad.